taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season off top, you stop breathing.
Yeah, what's good, yo? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where, as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. I'm your host for tonight, Pat Scorpio, the New England representative, and as always, I got my man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Yo, what it do? That's what you get. That's my name right now tonight. That's what you fucking get, boxing. Nah, it's Shutterwork the guy, aka the GOAT artist, LB Lauderdale boss. You know what he do. Soul Wars, get at me.
Yes, sir, man. And I know, that you're gonna get a whole bunch of that's what you get tonight. That's for damn sure. Like there's gonna be some conversations that need to be held tonight. That's for damn sure. And then next, certainly, I got my other man with me. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey yo, what's good? You already know who this is. Your boy King P, Bodega Boxing in the building. Bodega Banter in the building. And there's no gingers at the bodega today. You know what I'm saying? All the ginger spice has been splattered.
Hey.
I heard y'all got a bad batch last time. It was a recall.
Yeah, we won't be getting on in a while.
Judge it properly at the factory.
Gingers always get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the scoring, but that's a different story.
No, of course. And shout out to ITR Boxing. Yo, what up? We see you in Salute.
What up?
Oh man, and then of course, Pilot will probably, Conscious Pilot will probably join us a little later in the cast. He's busy handling what he's doing, but he'll definitely be here. So yeah, man. So apparently, there was a fight this past weekend that needs, you may have heard of it. It involved, a man from Russia, Dmitry Bivol, I think that's what his name is, and this other cat. What's his name? Saul Canelo.
The redhead kid.
Yeah, the redhead kid. The one that looks like old Rusty Dusty. Looks like the brawny guy on the paper towel and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, him. Yeah. I heard about him. Like, he's kind of been like the top guy in the sport in the sport for a while. Like ever since Floyd retired and Pacquiao retired, but for some reason his fights don't have as much buzz as those guys.
Yeah, no doubt. And Lukey, of course I know who you are. I just wanted to make sure that that was you behind the ITR Boxing, man. Of course, shout
out to Lukey.
Yeah.
West Side.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So yeah, man. So yeah, this redhead kid, he has a trainer. Apparently, he's a butcher. He'll be handling the meats and shit. Hold
on, wait. This trainer is supposed to be like so great, right? Like, y'all was shitting. People were shitting on Goosen because Ryan Garcia left and went to him. So what is it now? Like, do y'all owe Goosen an apology? Do y'all owe Ryan Garcia an apology? Did Frank Sanchez get his apology yet for Reynoso showing up the day of his fight?
and surprisingly, Reynoso's probably the only fighter in that camp right now that's kind of has any type of momentum going for the time being. We still don't know when his next fight's going to be. Other than it's probably coming, and then we're gonna see. We'll have to judge accordingly if dude will suffer the curse. But if you've been living under the proverbial boxing rock, Eddie Reynoso's camp, they haven't been doing too good lately.
Nope.
They've been on quite the losing streak. Either fighters leaving the camp like a Luis Neri, or taking L's like a Julio Cesar Martinez, or
going life and death with heavyweights from a whole nother era.
Yeah, like Andy Ruiz. They're in a whole bunch of issues. So now they got their marquee fighter. One Saul Canelo Alvarez. And one thing we won't clown him about is him going up to 175 again to try to take on someone who is a fairly prime is a prime light heavyweight in Dmitry Bivol. Now, obviously, if you heard us talk about this before, we weren't overly excited about this fight, although we didn't shit on this fight per se. And some of us had, wanted to see Canelo fight somebody else, Or
Well, hold on. It wasn't just ring game. It was like, let me see. 80% of the boxing public wanted to see other fights, but except this fight. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, no.
And let me answer a Luffy question. If Bivol was a character in the Marvel universe, who he would be? Havoc. Fights in explosive little bursts. He's Cyclops' younger brother.
Yeah, no doubt.
Punches and bunches, like all the time. They're not too powerful, but just powerful enough. So yeah, I would say Havoc.
Yeah, that's a good one. Havoc, Havoc needs to be brought on the screen sooner or later. I mean, hopefully in this X-Men reboot that we'll see a Havoc sighting though. But that's actually a perfect one for it to decide Bivol. But yeah, man, it was just like, I have nothing against Bivol. Bivol is a solid fighter, but obviously Bivol has lots of, but it seemed like he was kind of sleepwalking, which I think is probably the biggest criticism of Saul. Like his fights is, obviously if you saw him in the HBO fights, HBO was kind of building him up, and and he performed. You could see that dude could be a star. I mean, ironically, he got his last knockout to date on the HBO card, who are no longer in boxing. Then after that, if you watch some of his fights outside of that, like dude boxes well and everything like that, but it's kind of like it was very uninspired. Like it seemed like he was just going through the motions.
And he was picked for a reason, just because of that.
Exactly.
So when people say Bivol was a cherry pick, or they thought that Canelo looked at Bivol as a cherry pick, they are absolutely correct. Mm-hmm. Bivol was a cherry pick. Was he the cherry pick in the sense of Amir Khan struggling with Chris Algieri? No. But was he a cherry pick in the sense of, I see a skilled fighter that's in a rut that I might could exploit because he hasn't knocked anyone out. He's been going the distance. He's been looking uninspired, and he's afraid to throw more than 5 power punches around.
Right.
So yes, that was a fucking cherry pick, and that in the big scheme of things, it was.
Right.
Because nobody asked for this fight. Nobody.
Right. And obviously, if you're familiar with all the politics that go on in boxing, especially with Canelo. Canelo is a free agent. Canelo basically moves how he wants. Ever since he sued to get out of Oscar's contract with Golden Boy. So obviously, so with the exception of a one fight contract that he signed with PBC to get the last super middleweight belt off Caleb Plant. Dude has signed on with Matchroom. Much to for the Canelo stand, some of them just don't understand why he does it. But let's put it this way: Canelo likes Eddie Hearn. Like that's just what it is. Like Canelo legit likes Eddie Hearn and likes working with him. So and Eddie Hearn is very lucky in that because Canelo provides like a conduit into still to the American and subsequently world boxing markets and stuff like that. So. Eddie in the case did win in this particular sense that Canelo likes working with him. So after PBC, Canelo signed a three fight contract, another agreement with Matchroom again to fight on DAZN. And most people didn't like that because why can't you just fight Jamal Charlo or David Benavidez or something like that? They don't. And they that's the thing is Canelo's ducking. Like, why does he go over and have to fight Triple G or fight a Bivol? And a lot of that is, and like I said, a lot of people really it's a lot ignorant. Like most people about boxing, like I said, boxing today it's a lot of people have hype beast views. Like you can criticize Bivol on a lot of different things, but if you think he's just a regular Euro bum, you're sadly mistaken. And
no one called him that though. See, this thing, no one called. Everybody knew Bivol was quality. It's just he was the quality we didn't want this week.
Well, no, I'm not talking about us. But there's a segment out there that just thought because they just assumed because he fights on Matchroom, he fights on.
Oh yeah, the casuals that's what makes it even worse. The casuals thought that because they didn't promote fucking Bivol.
No, and I'll definitely get to that. Just to wrap up what I was saying. Yeah, like I say, Bivol, because there was a whole lot of different views of Bivol, and Bivol, to his credit, he stayed quiet. Like, Bivol didn't like, and Bivol had a steely focus, and then which brings us to this fight. Now, we also mentioned too, this fight was not buzzing at all. Like, this shit had no fucking buzz, like none. And this was Canelo's coming off a pay-per-view with Caleb Plant, that did about 800K from what I understand it. So, yeah, and it's pretty much like the whole thing was just like Canelo with his one-liners and his bad words and his like,
Oh no, the same 5 one-liners. Like he has like a set of one-liners that like boxing media keeps them orgasm over. Like
it's like
just corny.
Like,
they paid so much attention to Canelo that like no one cared about Bivol until after he won the fight. Then everybody's like, oh man, Bivol, he has great personality. Oh man, he had bars. Oh, he was spitting real shit. Like, damn, how come y'all weren't finding this out before the fight?
Bivol, fun things too. Yeah, there was nothing on the like. Whereas Canelo, like, pretty much all of the media on this fight was all Canelo. Bivol was just like they wouldn't talk nothing about him.
And he speak better English, so like the whole English shit ain't even an excuse. Right,
Canelo's doing his little vulgar diatribes and shit, and being dismissive about everything, and these fighters, they need to fight anyone. Like, payday, try to make this nigga into a fucking all these all these little sound bites that he be doing.
And all the boxing media just kept fucking repeating it over and over.
Yeah, it was getting fucking.
What's wrong with Charlo not fighting each other? Why can't Charlo and Benavidez fight each other? Why can't this? I'm like, so y'all really gonna ask why 2 people that Canelo avoided since 154 haven't fought each other when Canelo could have just fought them? Like,
I'm saying,
like why? Like, let's be honest. I'm gonna take it there. There is a racial element with this.
Yeah,
there is. It is super obvious now. Boxing media have been so silent on Twitter after this fucking ass kicking.
Mm-hmm.
These niggas is just, they don't even post no more. They just fucking retweet the dick riding post for Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
Or they don't like him and they just kind of just chill out because there's nothing. They embarrassed. They're honestly embarrassed. The whole gig is up. They the ones demanded this fight. Remember, whenever there's a poll on Twitter, even Ring Gang polls, when we ask how popular is Bivol, dude, nobody knew this motherfucker like that.
Yeah, no.
How many times we asked the fans what fights they want to see over this fight? People would say Charlo, Benavidez, even Andre. Nobody wanted to see this motherfucking fight.
And y'all, I just see a quick question from Lukey, and actually it's a good segue. We can actually go, to sum up the undercard of this fight. Yeah, the undercard, just to let you know, like the undercard itself, like it could have been a lot better. I mean, like I think it hurt because the Hrgovic and Zhang fight, had to be postponed. And Zhang,
I was looking forward to that one.
So was I.
But once that one got canceled, like I ended up like not seeing the undercard. I don't think until the person before Love.
Yeah, like the undercard was actually pretty damn good. Like it had upset on there. It has a couple of upsets on there actually. Or one was a draw, and the other one was a legit upset. The undercard was actually good. Yeah, Espino Silva was a great little slugfest. Mark Castro did what he had to do. Mark Castro, the funny thing too is for a guy that put up all those videos of him, like having the weight tied to the rope and he's moving his head and shit like that. This motherfucker gets hit a lot. Like the jobber that he was facing still put hands on him. Like he just didn't go down this time. Yeah, but
he had one of those Campbell Hatton performances.
Yeah, something like that, and he has power, but this is the second time in a row that he went the distance. So I'm not really overly. Mark Castro was like he's like 6-0, but yeah, dude needs to start showing some real improvement. But Alexis Espino, it was tough. It was tough break though, but you can't be slugging with a slugger like that, like how he was doing, because that's how he got caught. And Silva, caught him and pounding him on the ropes, like Silva. Espino, I know, is one of Eddie's prospects or whatever. Really, the main one of Eddie's main ones. So it was unfortunate, but hey, it's good that you learn a lesson, for this shit, But yeah, Lukey, that fight was hot fire though, and honestly, I wish that was on the main card. But yeah, Zhang, he started it off on the main card. He scored a one-punch knockout over a guy that probably shouldn't have been there, But
dude, the fucking DAZN didn't even show up. They put the highlight on Twitter without the punch.
Yeah, usually DAZN.
What the fuck?
Yeah, usually DAZN is usually pretty good about that shit. I don't know what the fuck he was doing about that, but yeah, that was kind of odd. And then and there was another one, Abduraimov, this was the undercard. You scored a nice brutal stoppage of Manny Correa, and then Velasquez, scored, another one of Eddie's prospects scored a nice knockout stoppage over Jose Sosa, which was good. That was on the undercard. And then probably the best fight on the main card was Shakram Gyasov and Christian Gomez. That fight was a good fucking scrap, Gomez, unfortunately, going down 3 times in the fight will kind of kill you on the cards, but he rocked Gyasov hard.
If he could have put 2 more punches together at that moment, he could have probably dropped him. He had dude out there.
Yeah, and Gyasov though, I think Gyasov has a little Amir Khan in him in terms of how he moves and how he throws his punches and shit like that.
He reminds me of Saddam Ali.
Yeah, he actually does, but I think with better footwork though.
Yeah,
and better power.
Definitely.
Yeah, Gyasov, I'll give because dude was not afraid to get inside to do some work because he was getting clipped a good amount of times. Especially he took one uppercut. I really thought that was gonna knock him out because dude took a real uppercut season, type of uppercut.
No, it wasn't even flush, and he was legit hurt from that shit. He hit the side of his chin. I'm like, damn. That shit would have hit his full chin, it would have been over.
Yeah, and Christian Gomez, I'm really curious to see, it sucks that he went down 3 times in the fight. Who is apparently in the last round too, where he needed probably a big round, and that pretty much sealed the fight for Gyasov. But yeah, honestly, both guys actually kind of, they kind of rose in my eyes in terms of, okay, we got a second level of welterweights that might make for really fun fights. Gyasov, I know Eddie's trying to push it. Christian Gomez, I definitely want to see him in a fight because Christian Gomez look like, if you're not careful, he might upset somebody because that power he has is legit and it's real. It's that power,
especially on that left hook, and he's compact too.
Very compact, But yeah, then after that, that's the undercard took a serious dive. Of course, in the Montana Love and the Gabriel Galala's fight,
I was disappointed. That fight had potential.
And honestly, I thought
it started out good.
Yeah, the first 2 rounds, Galaz goes down and then Love goes down. I don't know if this is his first time in the fight, first time in his career. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're about to get instead. But I think after they tasted each other's power, they didn't want to engage no more.
It was you're it. I'm good. No, you first. No, me first. And honestly, I couldn't take 12 rounds of them doing that shit like that. Awful performance, especially if you're a co-main for a pay-per-view event, and this is what y'all do. They needed a 154-pound fight on that or something.
Yeah, Montana Love too, and Montana Love had a lot of goodwill because his performances as of late were damn good, But yeah, this one, there was rumors Montana Love. He made the weight, but he was kind of drained, and he kind of low-key fought like it, among other things.
It's super economic, and he barely won the fight.
Yeah,
if somebody would have had a draw, nobody would have batted an eye. It would have just been whatever, main event, please.
Yeah, so Montana Love, I don't know what he needs to do, whether he needs a nutritionist or he needs to actually go up a division, But yeah, you can't. If he was in with probably a better caliber fighter or someone who really had some real power, he would have been in trouble.
Not even power. If he was in there with somebody who had a better temperament, somebody who was fuck it, I need this win,
right,
and just win at it. Because this dude, he had the power, he had the skills, but he ain't had a gumption. He ain't had a whole initiative. Like, and it's like both y'all could hurt each other. Like, the fuck y'all doing?
Exactly. And then like it was kind of tedious like watching it. Like I was bored watching this like these two.
Yeah, it was honestly like if it wasn't for Luki even bringing this up, like I would even talked about these motherfuckers.
No facts.
I'll be honest. Like I was disgusted with the damn undercard. Yeah, Henny got slick. Shout out, Henny. Undercard was trash, and so was the promotion for the fight. Yeah, bingo.
Yeah, and then Luki, I know Zhang fighting Chris Lovejoy. I mean, look, Chris Lovejoy isn't really that great either, but I can understand it because Chris Lovejoy does have her temperament, but Chris Lovejoy doesn't really have a chin. that's another thing. Like,
probably would have got another first round KO. So it's like
exactly. Like
with a slightly better name.
Yeah, because I mean, Lovejoy. I mean, he's out there on boxing Twitter like that. I mean, dude, he be trying though, but yeah, Lovejoy, his chin ain't there.
Girl, you say he be trying. Like that's another one of those bless his heart.
Yeah, like when Mamad Char is able to knock you the fuck out, like nah, we.
God damn.
Yeah. That's what he lost to 0-2. That's yeah. And Mamad Char isn't shit. So it's like. Yeah, if he could do it, then Zed could do it.
That's facts, though. Chris Lovejoy would promote the fight more than the event was promoted. That's facts. He
would have. Yeah, dude would have made sure. Dude would have made sure that that people tune in to see him.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
shout outs to Miss 702.
Yep, I saw that she tuned in. Salute Miss 702.
Salute.
Yeah, but yeah, man, yeah, the undercard. It looks like on paper it started out promising, but yeah, the Montana love shit. Like, I mean, honestly, if that fight was good, then the undercard would have been decent. Because I mean, that was really like the biggest dud of the night.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's our thoughts on the undercard. So yeah, like the main event, man.
I'm gonna fall back. I'm gonna let you and King Pete talk. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like I said, the promotion. Yeah, the promotion was absolute trash. Pay-per-view, and this is for the Zone's pay-per-view. Like the Zone, that you would think that the Zone would actually want to put a little bit more effort because since they're having motherfuckers pay, they want to follow in PBC's footsteps. Oh yeah, we want this pay-per-view money. So yeah, if you have a sub, it's $59.99. If you don't have a sub, it's $79.99. And then the funny thing too is boxing Twitter, like people had all these issues. Apparently, people, if you have the sub and you ordered that shit, like with taxes turned to be $71. I'm like, how the fuck is that? Like, seriously, like how the fuck does it go from $59 and then you get $12 in taxes and fees and the $71? That's what they say. And then apparently they don't say, oh, that's just like a temporary hold or some shit like that. Like it better be a fucking hold. Like, are you serious?
Bro, like it's like the Zone, Matchroom, Canelo, all of them. The boxing industry as a whole just took a L last night. The pay-per-view model, judges scoring, everything, promotion, undercards, a complete L of an event.
Yeah, it was absolute. Like they're lucky though that it seemed like it was damn near. It was almost like sold out in some place in that arena. And like T-Mobile Arena, I've been there before. Like they like the 100 level seats weren't like closed off or anything like that. Like there were people all up in there, so at least they have that.
I think that's the only thing that made money was the gate, like and maybe some merchandise. But I don't care about chili dog sales and none of the other shit. But other than that, the fight had no buzz until like Friday night.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously
if that.
Yeah, like the weigh-in was there. Like the weigh-in kind of came and went. Like there was. I mean, they didn't do anything. Like they clearly made the weight.
Canelo talked more about niggas need to fight each other than Bivol. Like it was such a given, and I think a lot of boxing media, not all, but a good amount, are like so upset that Canelo lost that they have to eat crow. That they just can't deal with it. Like they're really like sour about it. And it's just at the end of the day, y'all put this out there that the greatest challenge for Canelo is at 175 with Bitterbeef and Bivol. Meanwhile, the fans are like, man, I want to see the Charlo and the Charlos fight Canelo in Texas. That's a mega event. Oh man, you put Benavidez and Canelo in the Staples Center. Da 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 da. That's an event. You put Andre and Canelo in a cave somewhere. I don't care. Somebody will watch it. Like people, these were the fights people want to see, and it's like we're just kidding. Boxing media, along with Canelo, just kept telling fans, "Look, these guys need to fight each other, fight each other, fight each other."
Right.
But anytime we're like, "Oh, okay, who did Liam Smith fight to get this Canelo opportunity? Who did Rocky Fielding fight to get this opportunity?" When we start naming who did Callum Smith fight? Who did Saunders fight?
Yeah,
Yes, Canelo overlooked Bivol.
Yeah, he did.
He overlooked him so far. Oh my goodness, he was already shitting on fucking Golovkin and overlooking him. He was
exactly. Like,
Canelo was into next year.
Yeah, Canelo. I think Canelo. I mean, his success and everything was. It went to his head.
That's why it's a fucking cherry pick, because you only overlook fucking cherries.
Right.
You don't overlook a goddamn steak dinner, nigga.
Yeah.
You don't overlook a motherfucking plate of catfish and ribs and shit and mashed potatoes and gravy. You don't overlook that shit.
I'm saying, like,
but you gonna overlook a couple fucking cherries. You gonna be like, I see them cherries, but
yeah, and he
what's that in the back?
Yeah, and he clearly did, because I mean, just as we get to this fight, like how he came out to fight. Now, obviously, as we all know, Canelo has been kind of power punching his way through 168. Punching
breaking
arms,
orbitals.
Yeah, tearing biceps, breaking orbitals, shit like that. Dude. With some head movement here and there, but clearly no, it's true. It's like it's clearly some head movement here and there. Like, whereas Canelo, at least at one before, through some combinations, actually pumped a jab, did a lot of other shit. This one is just like,
he's like a tank, like not tank Gervonta Davis, but like a tank that just slowly moves forward, busting off a high ammunition rocket.
Yeah,
and then that's it.
It goes to the ropes and punches arms, boom, boom, and just like that. And these motherfuckers kind of like, like I said, and they've been wilting, because Canelo's like, I'm gonna crush these guys with one shot and get them out of there, that type of shit. But clearly he didn't watch a whole lot of Bivol to know you can't really do that. And Bivol,
no. He watched enough Bivol to choose his ass.
True. But I don't think he was, because funny thing is too is like one of the things that people didn't mention in the build-up was that Bivol looked like he was trained like we saw Bivol like prior to the weigh-in. Like Bivol looked like he was jacked. Like Bivol never really looked that.
He looked like he was fight ready the whole fight. Like if somebody told me Bivol was over 185 in camp, I would say, nah, I need proof. Because this dude looked like he was maybe 178 the whole time. Like just right there, just waiting for the weigh-in, basically.
Yeah.
And not even looking overtrained, not throwback. Like Vivian Harris against Carlos Morsa.
Yeah, that's a throwback.
If you want to see somebody who overtrained for a fight, watch that fight, and you'll know what overtrained is.
I know Lukey knows that fight too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like he pretty much he came out and like Bivol just had like a steely focus. Like I mean, dude was like right in. He was like he knew what he needed to do. Canelo was just, let's say he was trying to walk him down, try to get him on the ropes, but immediately Bivol let him know that his footwork is not like these other motherfuckers out there. As soon as Bivol's back touched the ropes, spins off, pivots off, gets it back to the center of the ring. Perfect example of ring fucking generalship. Never, not be like these cats that, people that like Canelo's, bull him into the ropes. Like that's the reason why that Callum Smith was so fucking terrible to me, because Callum Smith is my fucking height, and I've seen a small guy just bully him around like that was disgusting to me. I felt like throwing him up.
I ain't gonna lie, seeing Canelo beat up Caleb Smith, like he made like short people just feel like the shit for like the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I was horrified watching that.
Tall dude, mean mug me. I look at him back like, bitch, I'm getting this Canelo work.
Yeah, I almost
Keep
wanted
your ass going.
Yeah, I almost wanted to put a fucking midget in a standing guillotine choke, have his legs dangle to make myself feel better, nigga.
You want to throw somebody over a car that bad? Like,
Yeah, man, I was that shit was disgusting to me. But he wasn't able to do that to Bivol though. Like Bivol let him know, like, you know what, I have a jab too, and I may not have a sexy KO record, although he still has over 50% KO rate, even though he hasn't KO'd anybody in 4 years. Bivol let him know, like, I'm gonna hit you. And Canelo seems shocked that, wait a minute, Bivol's hitting me. And then one thing that Bivol hadn't been doing lately is throwing combinations. Bivol was throwing some combinations, like Bivol like 2, 3, 4, 5 punches.
Even though a lot of them were arm punches, it's the fact that he was throwing them, and he was throwing them with like mean intentions.
Yeah, and it wasn't sloppy. Like Dude's technique, like you could tell. Like, I mean, Dude was turning over his punches. They were short. Some of them were short though, but you could tell that everything, it was balanced punching with him. Like, yeah, and then you see, and you know it's balanced because Canelo's head. Now Canelo has a trick. Canelo, when he anticipates a punch, will whip his head in the direction of the punches, to roll with the punch. It's all trick, to take some steam off the punches. Some fighters know how to do it, some people don't. Canelo does that pretty well.
But it's easy to do it when people are taking 1 and 2 shots at a time. That's why Bivol had the perfect strategy.
Right.
Where he would throw 4 or 5 punches, and it's like the Pacquiao effect. The third or the fifth will get you.
Right. And then another thing too, what Bivol does, like, now, obviously when Canelo did successfully get Bivol on the ropes and he was doing his whole arm punching thing, one of the things that he did was throw counters, left hook counters off that. Like, as soon as Canelo would land a bicep punch, that left hook came there. Like, Canelo would drop his right hand and Bivol would immediately catch a counter with a left hook. Like, you can see it, like, every single time, and that was clean. Like, he was rocking Canelo, and Canelo never really adjusted to that. Like, not once.
It was like one of those fight night round 3 counters.
Yeah,
he dropped his arm.
Yeah,
he hit with the clean shot.
Yeah,
like Canelo looked basic as fuck. Like, I can't remember the last time a pound for pound level elite guy had no adjustments, and the only thing he could do is just resort to damn wailing on a guy's bicep. Like, the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like, and it got worse too. Then and then one thing Bivol started going to Canelo's body, which was a thing that fighters, with the exception, most fighters wouldn't do, or if they did, they were kind of afraid because Canelo did have fast hands, and they didn't want to catch a counter, But Bivol, that jab to the belly. The hooks to the side, he was catching them, and by the third round, you can see Canelo was labored. Like, this motherfucker had his tongue out and shit. Like, nigga looked like he needed water or some shit like that. Like, nigga was
it was a different type of fight. He wasn't used to, like, look. A lot of people want to say it was Bivol because he was bigger. Bivol fought this dude like a regular guy. He didn't use his size. He didn't use his physicality.
Right.
Bivol used footwork to dart in and out of mid-range, to land combinations, started off by a jab. And then once he would, the jab would open Canelo up or get him to close distance, he would let off the combinations to punch Canelo back. And before Canelo could do anything, Bivol would just bounce back with the high guard.
Yeah.
And it was like the same thing. Over and over. He didn't do nothing special, so it's like it's more on Canelo for not making it. Like, look, in order to fight what Bivol was doing, you would have to legit try to punch with Bivol. Mm-hmm. And in order to do that, you gotta expend energy. Cause he and Canelo would have to come forward and sometimes even back the ball up as well. He wasn't trying to do that throughout the fight. When he did, he would actually land some shots. He did land a good uppercut on Bivol.
He did
land a few good hooks around the guard. But the thing is, he wasn't doing it consistently, and he basically fought like a guy who knew he had it in the bag if it goes the distance.
Right.
He was the fucking he was a victim of his own undoing.
And the worst thing is Bivol wasn't bothered by these shots. Not like one. Like usually, and this is where usually Canelo is like. Usually, people if you get hit by Canelo, like you clearly bother. Like and Bivol, and we've seen Bivol. Like even Joe Smith had him sleepwalking for a few seconds. You know, so
yeah, right at the bell.
Yeah, Bivol has been tagged. He has been badly hurt before. Canelo, not one of Canelo's punches did anything, which means like like I said, sometimes man. Water meets level, man. Sometimes, you can do that shit in one division, but you can't. You may not be able to carry that shit up to another.
Canelo couldn't get a lot of money shots off either. Like,
right.
If you look at that fight, Canelo landed maybe 3 solid shots, and it's a difference between landing a solid shot or your best shot. Like right. Canelo he's never got the opportunity. He never created the opportunity to land a Sunday punch. There was I think the uppercut, there was only maybe one shot I noticed that got Bivol's attention. And then Bivol just, same poker face, he pivoted out, got out of off the ropes corner and went about business.
Right.
Kind of like how Spence do, and that's what you need to have when you're going against elite guys who got the damn judges on their side. You can't look like you bothered.
Really didn't even look like those punches that landed on Bivol even really affected him that much. Like I didn't see the power.
They didn't.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of steam. Like especially like in the last round where it was obvious that Canelo was trying to go for it to because I think he even knew that maybe he needed something, a knockdown or a knockout. Like he was landing punches on Bivol, but there was no steam on them. So it's like, was it even affecting him? And then at the end, he's like, "Well, he hurt my arm," and like laughing jokingly. So it's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the reason why I had no steam because Canelo gassed early. Like obviously, if you've heard me joke about Canelo's stamina, I mean, I've always said I've said it even back in the days, even before he fought Floyd. Like Canelo's stamina has never been that great.
He is a 6-round fighter.
Yeah, like if you manage to make him exert more than he's used to, then you really start seeing him struggle. Sometimes he gets a stoppage, more times he or it's other. But yeah, Canelo's stamina has always been led as one of his big weakness points. And 168 for a little bit masked that because of how he was fighting and how he was getting these cats out of there. But this shit, it wasn't gonna exposed it. And this nigga was on a vegan diet too. Like this nigga was eating grass and shit.
It's the offense that exposes it. Whenever you give Canelo, you could wear down his mental fortitude. That's what wears him down. It's if you're attacking or you're consistent with some type of an attack. It's always been the attack. It's never really been the movement. People think it's the movement that's gonna give Canelo problems. It's the offense. It's how you fucking down. It's how you fucking deliver the shots to Canelo. Canelo's used to you being right there and you throwing 1 or 2 weak ass jabs that he could counter. He's not used to someone pumping a double, triple jab, moving their head and moving forward, throwing shots at him.
Yeah.
And doing that for the fight. Like, remember, Jacobs had Canelo gas.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and that was the last time that Canelo had actually gassed in a fight. And this was the fight that we were all
was
saying.
A 115, 113 type of fight.
Yeah, that was when we were saying if Jacobs had actually woke up in the first half of the fight, he would have won that fight, hands down. But he gave away too many rounds for that, and that's what made that fight a shame. But this one, like when Canelo gassed, I mean, one thing he resorted to doing was he was trying to bait Bivol into a counter. Like Canelo rarely would get backed up into the ropes like you see him, but he was laying on the ropes like lazy and shit like this, like baiting him to come in there.
And Bivol never took the bait.
Or if he did, it'd be off. Or if he did, only because if Bivol was actually, throwing combinations and putting.
Yeah, he did it on his terms. Like Bivol did everything on his terms because you know what it is. Bivol had the ring generalship and the offense to beat Canelo.
Right.
That's what you have to have. A lot of times, guys really just have one or the other. Like Floyd has the ring generalship and the damn offense to beat Canelo, so he beat him. Golovkin, same thing, so he beat him. Everyone else just usually had one more the other.
Yeah,
Laura had more of the offense than the ring generalship. But it was like mobile. It was almost like equal. So you get an equal type of fucking fight he had.
Right.
Trout, the same shit. So you had an equal close ass type of fight. But guys like Plant is a ring generalship dude. So he's not gonna bother Canelo like that to where Canelo will gas out.
Yeah,
he could deal with he could deal with Plant offense. It's the ring generalship tripped him up a little bit, but after a while, like, come on.
Yeah. Canelo, because Canelo has to respect your offense in order for. If he doesn't respect your offense, that's what makes him come forward and does what he does.
And it ain't about power either, because Floyd Mayweather doesn't hit crazy hard. Fucking Bivol doesn't hit crazy hard.
Bivol is a good punch, and Bivol is a champion in a division that actually has killer punchers. He's not a killer puncher himself, but he's a good puncher.
He punches hard enough, but I would not call him a hard puncher. Matter of fact, if Jamal Charlo lands the same type of punches on Canelo would look lumped up.
Yeah.
Same thing with Benavidez. Like, and that's why people wanted to see those fights. They wanted to see Canelo in a fight. Like, Canelo, that tells me this. Look, the way Canelo trained and fought in this fight, if they would have got this version of Canelo, they would have beat him as well.
Yeah, and like, you knew that Canelo was getting frustrated because this nigga almost did a fucking Brock Lesnar F5. You know, had this nigga up in the air and shit like that. And the referee, he did that shit on purpose. The referee should have took a point from that motherfucker too for doing that stupid shit.
Dude, look, go to boxingscene.com. Look at all the pictures that they have of the fight, the photo gallery, whatever.
Yeah,
I noticed in some of the pictures the damn referee was wincing. Like, he was like, "Oh my god, like, you're hitting Canelo too hard." Like, look at the pictures. So I promise, like, scroll down, you're gonna see like beautiful gallery. Like, shout out to boxingscene.com.
Yeah,
I show love.
Yeah, because a lot of the pictures of that fight, it shows, a lot of pictures show Canelo just getting hit clean in his face. Like,
there's always, even if the punch ain't clean, there's a hand in his motherfucking face. It's like that one old dude just shoot nothing but threes on the rec court.
Yeah.
Got in your eye, sucker. In your face. Got you. Like, god damn, like that's all Canelo seen. Canelo gonna go to sleep with a jab in his face.
Facts. Yeah,
and he wasn't even getting his head snapped back with the jab like Golovkin was doing. He didn't even get beat up. That's what make it funny. Like, Canelo lost bad, and he didn't even get beat up. Right.
And then of course, like, during this fight, it led to a lot of stupid shit that was being said by the commentary. I mean,
worse. Oh, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the worst obviously was from Sean Porter. Now, Sean Porter is usually very level-headed at times, when he's in the booth. But this nigga's like, in the 12th round, this nigga's talking about, Canelo should, Bivol should just, like, take it easy. Like, he shouldn't worry about engaging, And I'm like, dude, like, do you know who the fuck he's fighting? Like, are you serious? Like, he's fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez in Las Vegas. Are you kidding me?
Like, they don't know his plot armor. And then this is Sean Porter, who done lost so many close ass fights. Like, come on. Like,
yeah, I mean, unless Bivol had dropped him like maybe 3 times, maybe at least something of that nature.
What? So he could win 114, 113,
right? Like Porter was saying some shit. It's like, no, you gotta beat Canelo. If you want to win, you gotta beat Canelo. And truthfully, that fight, like, I scored the shit. I had the shit 117-111 for Bivol. Like, it wasn't a close fight. LB, what about you? What did you score the fight?
118-110. Canelo won 2 rounds to me, barely.
Yes, sir.
He won maybe the first round. It was 1 round he won in the first half, and then he won a late round. But I think he landed 1 cleaner punch than Bivol did. But yeah, complete domination. I'm disgusted by his performance and all his hype that he's received over the years.
Yes, sir.
And you'll see my disdain in my voice when you hear this shit.
Yes, sir. Ayo, King P, what did you score the fight?
I also scored it 117-111. Pretty clear decision for Bivol. That's why when I saw the scores, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, these niggas probably had it 5-3 before this fight even started. And then Bivol had
It was
to win
4-0, literally.
Oh, Pilot, what did you score the fight?
Same as y'all. Besides, I mean, I had a 117 and 111. I mean, Canelo got his ears boxed off. So yeah, I mean, at most you might give him three, 2 or 3.
3 is the most. I can't see anything higher than 3.
I think round 4. I think round 4 was his best round. He kind of got a couple of the uppercut. It's crazy. He had this is the first fight in a long time where Canelo just had no moment. There was no moment he actually had.
Yeah, no urgency, no adjustments, and this is supposed to be a pound for pound. This will be pound for pound number 1, not one adjustment. And then speaking of the scorecards, because we definitely gotta get to the scorecards. Like the official scorecards were released like almost immediately after the fight, and there were 2 things on there that stood out were just alarming. The first one was pretty much all 3 judges gave Canelo the first 4 rounds. Like.
That's wild.
The only round he won in the first 4 was like maybe the first. He maybe won the first,
maybe,
or in the 4th, and then he won another late round. So that's why I could understand y'all saying 3 rounds, but yeah, no more than that. And then, what kind of highlights does this nigga have besides the uppercut?
And then the second one was pretty much the 10, 11, 12. Bivol won on all 3 judges' cards, because if he didn't win all 3, it would have been a draw. Yeah, so
I mean, we were saying that before the fight. Like, this nigga gonna have to win 10 rounds to beat Canelo
to win 7-5.
Yeah, dude, did I not say that? I literally said that. Like, you gonna have to, dude, I pretty much said everything about this fight other than just picking Bivol to win. You know why? Because we've been shell-shocked and traumatized by Canelo decisions that it was just hopeless.
Yeah.
And that's why Canelo's fights have no buzz, because we, what Sonny Edwards tweeted in a parallel universe, there's a Canelo out there with 4 losses.
Yeah, like the multiverse Canelo.
Yeah, the multiverse Canelo got 5 losses and maybe 2 draws, but in this reality, it's like he just got a second loss.
Yeah,
come the fuck off.
Yeah, and on top of that too, like 115, 113. Let me read off these judges' names just to make sure. Tim Cheatham, Dave Moretti, Steve Weinsfeld. You motherfuckers, man. You motherfuckers, you filled out your shit before this shit. I don't give a flying fuck. You motherfuckers.
But hold on. Weren't niggas saying, oh man, we got some good judges this fight. The best of the best. The commentary, wasn't they hyping these judges up?
Hell yeah.
And look what they did.
Yeah,
the whole industry took a L, dog. They was all in on this shit except Bivol.
Yeah, Bivol did what he had to do. It's how the fuck do you fight? Yeah, yeah, it's so you
116, 112 would have been too much.
Yeah, and the funny thing is too is the whole cards, every single one of their cards was all there was no different. There's
all identical.
Yeah, they're all identical as fuck.
Do niggas think me and Pat was just fucking joking with y'all? We've been saying the same shit ever since Ring Gang started. The same for the last 5 years. Took 5 years for this shit to come to light. We've been saying the same shit. Canelo, he owns this, he has that, he has this, got that. They won't let him lose. Y'all see this for yourselves. This shit is playing out literally the way we call this shit.
Yeah, and I'll call that to him, mate. If you ever heard my prediction video with Caleb Smith, I had a line in there about that shit. Now boxing's most coveted free agent. One question: would a plot armor be blatant? Yeah, that's because I wrote that shit because that shit came to me. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put that in there. Cause it's true. We've been saying it.
No, that's why his fights have no buzz, because it's even if somebody has a chance, they know they have to knock Canelo out to win, and it's who wants to see a movie where you always know what the ending's gonna be, no matter what?
Right.
That's Canelo. That's why Canelo could never fucking really become a star. Look, this nigga Canelo was fucking getting booed.
Yeah.
How many times has a pound for pound star elite fighter ever get booed as much as Canelo.
Yeah, exactly.
Canelo stay getting booed. Look, he got booed against Golovkin. Motherfuckers were saying Triple G. Man. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, Canelo ain't no motherfucking damn face of the sport. Like, he got the most fickle fucking. His fans only exist to go to his fight and talk shit on fucking Twitter.
Yeah, and you know what?
The boxing media is his fans.
Yeah, and I gotta mention too, like, because obviously, because it was mentioned a lot on boxing Twitter. All the bimbos that were in the front row that paid like that must have paid at least $13,000 for the seats.
Out aisle.
Yeah,
shout out to PJ.
Express.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to PJ on that one too. Yeah, like clearly they were probably there for Canelo, but then you can see as Canelo was getting his ass whooped, like you can see some of them were in their phones, like, you know, and then some of them I think kind of left their seats before the decision was announced. there were that much of a distraction for some people. It's like,
yeah, people was hating. I was like, look, this undercard is trash. Y'all better be happy y'all got these broads to look at. Like, what else y'all wanted? Like, at least somebody looked out. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
who wanted to see them Montana Love and that other dude look into each other's eyes all night and not throw punches?
I can't lie. About the 6th round that Montana Love fight, I was staring at that row. I ain't gonna front.
And dude, this is why Ring Gang is Ring Gang, because we just keeping it real. This real shit.
Yeah, this is
everybody started looking at them after the 6th round. It was just like, all right, these niggas ain't going. We got 6 more rounds of this. Shit, these motherfuckers, they gonna play around. Let me look at these broads. Okay.
Yeah. And then the broads themselves, you know, they we noticed because they, like, you know, they were there for Canelo. Like, whoever brought them there, they were there for Canelo. And then they all, like, some of them were leaving before the decision. And the whole 115, 113 was a joke. And then Hiko, 7-5 scored was a joke. Bivol won 10-2. Yeah, 10-2, 9-3 is literally what the 4 if you're being really super generous.
Nah, 4 is like four can't even happen. There's no such thing as super biased. You like the 4 rounds are just as bad as a 5. That's how bad it is.
You like your Mexican boxers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like you really love your Mexican boxers. Like, and yes, Canelo is the same fighter he was when he fought Floyd.
Yeah,
have I not been saying this for the last 5 fucking years? It's just he always gets the benefit of the doubt. So you assume he approved, but if he'd have been getting his losses like he was supposed to, we would have been like, Canelo, he got Hall of Fame potential, but I think he got a little way to go before he's an all-time great fighter. Mm-hmm. But instead, niggas is like, anytime Canelo gets a little bullshit victory against motherfuckers, he's 7-1 favorite over motherfuckers. Like, oh, Canelo, he's the greatest. He's better than Chavez. He's better than Morales. He's better than this nigga. He's better than Lopez. He's better than this. Shut the fuck up. He lost, goddammit. Jeez, I had to hear that shit all this time. Like, that nigga trash, and he fought trash. Dude, look. When Mikey Garcia fights harder than you in 10 rounds, you know you ain't shit.
Right. And the funny thing is, too, is like they really, just like the fact that judges really didn't want to give it to him. And then, David Diamante. This motherfucker usually the most animated motherfuckers when he's announcing it. And then he wasn't even trying. This nigga had no inflection in his voice. Yeah, he was identical score, 115, 113. I
can't believe this shit.
Winner. And still undefeated Dmitry Bivol. Like that's how he sounded to me.
Dude, I'm telling you, everybody was in on it. Like literally, like even the announcer, the thought aisle, the judges. Like, my goodness, like crazy.
Yeah, and Canelo struggles against a jab, decent defense, and quick feet. Andre Ward and B-Hop easily outbox Canelo. Yeah, and I can see Canelo beating Tito at 160.
Nah, I can't see that. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that might open up a can of worms there. And you know what? That might actually be a poll. Like, P, make sure you add that. You know, that might be a poll. That
Canelo definitely loses at 154 to Tito. Definitely at 160, he got a more of a chance. It might be 60-40.
Yeah. You know, but yeah, it was just like the whole like they said I said maybe that's still used to open up a can of worms.
Facts. I feel you, man. I feel
Well,
you.
the only thing I'll say about what LB said is, well, I'm not gonna say that. It's weird when people say that. Well, he's the same fighter since Mayweather. I do think that that's greatly exaggerated. But I still don't think he's exactly the same. I think there's a little bit of change, but it's exaggerated. So it's a little bit of both, I guess, in my opinion. So I don't think he's.
I mean, did he become better? He's better, but he's still the same. Like, he didn't get no newer special effects or nothing. Like,
I mean, no special effects, but like me personally, I think like for example, I find Canelo to be more economical with his punches now than when he fought Floyd. Like certain things, he's a little different, but I can agree that it's been exaggerated. Like he's a whole new fighter since he fought. And
the opposition plays into that too. Mm-hmm. See, because if you was to say, look, let's replace Amir Khan, Beefy, and Chavez Jr. with Charlo, Andre, Mel, what those three fighters, and let's see if he's still economic.
Sure.
I even, I'm just saying, like, a lot of those guys at the bigger weights, they don't have the footwork to even do the angles that Bivol was doing. Bivol, when you start going up in weight, even when you're training at the gym, you see the higher you go up in weight, the less footwork.
They're more flat-footed. Yeah, I get it. The bigger fighters, especially in the gym, I see it all the time. They're more flat-footed.
So when you get a guy like who's over 175 and he could move and pivot and he's quick and he could dart in and dart out, and he could do it at the same level of guys that's at 160, 168, 154, that ups his game up against a guy like Canelo who has two fucking tree stumps for legs.
Right. And possibly one of them might be a bad will because he's had surgery on one of his knees, so he had cleanup surgery, quote. So yeah, so it was
allegedly. I mean, but he recovered with tainted knee,
Yeah, of course.
And then he had a bad knee, but he's able to run and move like fucking prime Lara against Golovkin in the first fight.
Yeah, and speaking of his condition, like just for the fact that dude went on a vegan diet on this, it's like, why? Like, you've made 175 before without it. Like, I mean, the one thing that I noticed, and I think it was other people noticed too, that Canelo looked flat. He made the weight, but he looked flat because this nigga was eating vegetables and nothing else. Like, dude was not. Dude bite through his nutrition in the push.
I heard he went vegan. I'm like, that's terrible. I hate it when these athletes go vegan because they lose their strength and they just.
That's part of the cherry pick package. When you overlook somebody so bad, so much, you just be like, you know what? I could go vegan. I could try this. I could do that. You just stop giving a damn because you're already guaranteed to win. And remember, Canelo was only 2 rounds away from winning.
Yeah,
he was a round away from a draw, and he got the hands put on him. So, of course, man, like, you got wrong, like,
right. And then what made the upset more epic was obviously once it was announced. Then Bivol, finally, he spoke his piece. One thing he said, he was like, "I'm sorry, Eddie, that I had ruined your plans with this Gennady Golovkin." And shit like that. And I'm just like, this thing is
everybody wants to see now. The boxing media, y'all full of shit. Now y'all want to see the Triple G fight.
Yeah.
When we wanted to see the Triple G fight back in 2019, 2018, right after the second one, when everybody in the world wanted to see it, y'all sold us on, he could go to super middleweight. Look at this behind this Rocky Fielding guy. Oh, look, Canelo, he's going to fight 3 times in a year. Oh, look. Y'all do all these fucking distractions and y'all play along with Canelo and his distractions and let him get a pass. Knowing damn well no one else will get a pass for this shit.
Right, and then Bivol was literally saying it's like he overlooked me. He wasn't treating me like champion. Like, dude, like, and Bivol gave his version of the Hearts on Fire speech from Rocky IV. You know, I heard all that shit in my head. Like, dude was spitting. Like, dude had a lot to say. It was like, well, wait a minute, Bivol was really spitting. And Canelo was so pissed that this nigga forgot his English too. Like, nigga came out there.
Beat the damn English out of him.
He improved all the English just to not speak it.
Yeah, he translator. It's like, and he clearly understood the questions, but this motherfucker was like doing all this shit.
And that's why he'll never be the people's champ. He's just a payday.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I was just like, wow, like, you know, it's like this thing was wild. It's like, you know, it's like you can't find the words to say that you lost, but you need a translator to tell you that.
About that, the post-fight conference, he said he only thought Bivol won like 4 or 5 rounds, and that he definitely won.
Yeah, someone really must have to drug test that motherfucker if that's what he thinks. Like, fuck out of here.
Oh, that's what happens when you're so entitled.
Yeah. Yeah, and Bivol, Bivol didn't even swing to the final bell ring. Yeah, Bivol stayed in first gear, but his first gear was just so dominating. He didn't need to. And funny thing is too, is the legit criticism that we've given Bivol in the past. You know, that was the thing that beat Canelo, like clear, hands down.
And that's the one thing that kept all of us from even picking Bivol. Because
exactly.
all of us low-key wanted to pick Bivol, because even years before, we all talked about Bivol being a bad matchup for Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we said it before, we've had off-air discussions about it. But when the fight came, it's just, everybody is just so over it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bivol did himself no favors. Yeah. But at the end of the day, he rose to the occasion when it was necessary, when he needed to, and that's all that matters at right now, really.
Yeah, that's really all that matters. Like, Bivol earned, like, you know, Bivol earned everything that, you know, you want to give him pound for pound status. Yeah, sure. Is Canelo number 1 now? No, he's probably not. He's like the list needs to be shaken up just a little bit. Like he's
been shaken up a lot, dude. Reynoso's gym is cannon fodder. Get that shit the fuck out of here. Like Reynoso gym right now is that squad that just ran at the rec court, you know, at the pickup game.
Yeah.
And they just got beat 7-up skunk. So now you take the ball and you kick it over the fence and you dare that nigga to say something.
Yeah.
That's what you do. That's what and I legit seen that shit happen in Miami. So get the fuck out of here. Like, Reynoso shit trash.
Yeah.
Overrated motherfucker. Can't stand y'all niggas. Hype these motherfuckers up all this time. Whole gym is full of fucking cheaters and motherfuckers that can't figure out a goddamn jab.
Right. You know,
giving us fucking fights nobody wanted. Then when y'all finally gotta fight some real niggas, y'all get y'all ass whooped.
Can't cut off the ring or none of that shit. Like,
none of that shit. Basic shit that you teach motherfuckers the first week in the gym, these niggas can't even execute.
Yeah.
You worried about, they need to fight everyone else. UFC, you not making enough money. You want payday. Ha ha ha. Payday.
Dude, you know, was on Twitter. Dude was some Twitter fingers, like going, you know, talking to Kamaru Usman, and you know, talking about that shit, or fucking around with, you know, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, whatever the fuck, you know. Like,
dude was extra as fuck. It was unnecessary extra, and I told y'all niggas, the boxing gods would not let Katie Taylor and Canelo on back-to-back weekends both win. Did I not fucking say that? One of them niggas is gonna have to lose. The boxing guys ain't gonna let both of them get a fucking decision.
Yeah.
And what fucking happened? What fucking do I not be fucking?
It's a pattern too. Anytime, any single time that you think that Katie Taylor might have lost the fight, the next, usually, so whoever's next up for Eddie, in terms of his marquee, takes an L.
It just happened on a different weekend, but I did mention that shit.
Mm-hmm.
We don't be fucking playing with y'all niggas ring game, motherfucker. Are we done talking about these losers?
Yeah. So now, pretty much, the aftermath now. So obviously now, obviously the unfortunate loser in this situation. We don't know if he's going to be unfortunate. Is one, Gennady Golovkin. Golovkin, who unfortunately was penciled in on September 17th. Should he have win to face Canelo for the third time for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. So now it's going to pretty much there's a lot of things. So reportedly there is no rematch clause for this. There is none.
You fucking Loma motherfuckers.
Yeah, there's no.
No, this definitely was a cherry pick. Because I wonder why before was talking about they gonna have to renegotiate the second fight.
Exactly. So and then
there's a fucking cherry pick. Cherry pick going wrong.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing, Canelo. Honestly, both Canelo and Bivol seemed like they were down for a rematch or whatever. But now if it's not mandated, Bivol can walk away, and obviously he can wait for the winner of Better Beef. Who let me make this clear, if Canelo was in the ring with Arthur Better Beef last night, Better Beef would have bodied him that night. Let me
ask y'all real quick. Joe Smith Jr. How would have Canelo fared against JSJ?
See, Canelo is a better.
He would have got hands put on him.
Yeah, but Joe Smith will put hands on him. But Canelo is a better boxer. But Joe Smith is a killer puncher at that weight.
I think Joe Smith would beat him too. It's just his punches come in the same way. But the thing is, Joe Smith is going to make you work the whole fight.
He will chances though. That's he takes a little bit more chances.
He's going to take the chances, and it's like he has confidence. Remember, Joe Smith just had a war in his last fight. Some people didn't think he won, but he fought harder than Canelo did.
Well, not his absolute last fight. The one where he won the belt in.
My bad. The title fight. You're right.
He knocked the other dude out. Yeah, the last one.
Yeah. Whereas Better Beef, if you hurt him and you don't put him away, he will destroy you, and he did that against Marcus Brown. That Canelo and that Canelo who gassed this fight. Better Beef would have put him.
And then Canelo don't have the footwork like that. Better Beef's opponent before Brown, because that dude almost went the distance, and he was giving Better Beef a hard time.
Yeah. So pretty much. So it's like.
Canelo probably could have knocked Canelo out last night if they would have fought at 168, and that version of Canelo get there. Do y'all remember how hard Golovkin was fucking punching Murata?
Yeah, so pretty much now it's just Golovkin can either obviously if Canelo and Bivol do this rematch, then Golovkin is left to probably, and now a lot of people are already talking about who Triple G needs to face, and I won't go too much into that. And
we but Jamal Charlo or Munguia, to me, either one of those fights I'm fine. Munguia, because of the independence, you got the whole built-in storyline with the whole he could avenge Canelo, he could avenge Mexico, because Canelo lost. It could be sold, but other than that, if Charlo looks good against Selecki, then I'll be good for that fight as well. And of course, he still got big fights. Fuck that.
And of course, Chris Eubank threw his name in the hat too, saying let's do this too, and so
I don't give a fuck about Chris Eubank.
Yeah, I don't either.
He threw himself in, he can throw his ass out. Fuck off. You had your chance.
Right, that's real talk. So
you let Brooke take your chance.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of so it's just like Canelo right now. I mean, obviously, now all this talks about Canelo going up to to fight Makabu, or he could beat Usyk. No, that's just dead. Canelo would never beat Usyk at heavyweight or cruiserweight. Usyk just gave a much bigger fighter a whole bunch of bigger puncher in Anthony Joshua a whole bunch of trouble.
Problems. You gave that nigga trouble and a half. But people are keeping it real though, because I seen a tweet J-Rock said, and he was like, the same people saying Canelo could have fought Usyk are now saying Bivol was too big.
Yeah, that's also facts. Yeah,
no, it's super obvious. It's y'all took an L, you just admitted, Canelo lost.
Yeah, and before we definitely go off to the topic and do a preview. Boxing media, you're wrong for being fucking quiet about this shit. Like you had, if Canelo won, you'd be doing all these think pieces are out there, but you've been silent as shit. Like there's nothing. Like I haven't heard nothing. Like the closest I've heard of social media is Andre Ward retweeting what he said about what he said back in like 2017 or 2018, where he said Canelo, you need
2019.
2019. That you need to avoid Bivol and better beef, and he turned out to be correct. But this is probably
Ward knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Dude, everybody knew what they was talking about because nobody wanted to see this motherfucker. Shit. Now boxing media is doing the deflection game. Now it's Bivol beats Charlo, Andre, Benavidez. Nobody cares because no one asked for them fights either.
Right.
Like, stop deflecting.
I mean,
y'all bringing up Wilder, all types of other shit.
Let's be honest. Canelo Benavidez fight is still as appealing today as it was yesterday, as it was before the Bivol fight. That doesn't change anything, in my opinion.
Right.
That's facts. It's a good fight is a good fight.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's just like now, like I mean, you gotta give Bivol his respect. Like Bivol, handed Canelo his ass in a very clear cut victory. And he was getting disrespected left or right by the media. You're paid or do whatever to cover him. Like now I'm pretty sure he's available to be covered. Like you need to give that man his total respect.
It's just funny to me how now all of a sudden it's, oh well, I'm not interested in seeing a rematch, or it's okay, good job, good effort. He was pushing above his.
Thank you.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that when he was fighting before he fought Kovalev. So now you can't use that anymore because we've seen him at 175 before against Kovalev. So that goes out the window. You can't use that.
Exactly. All these excuses and he dared to be great. No, he dared to dunk some real niggas and he got his ass whooped for that shit. That's what happened. I didn't see no dare to be great. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, as much as people shit on Mikey Garcia when he lost to Spence, it's like you're not seeing that with Canelo.
I seen somebody say, "Oh well, in 2003, did anybody want to see Roy Jones fight John Ruiz?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, here we go."
Look, first of all, it's like heavyweight is heavyweight. Whenever someone steps up to heavyweight, it's a automatically like, hold on, I have to see this. Like, just like you walk into the prison yard and you fight the cartel and you try to pick a fight with the cartel boss, so the biggest nigga there, it becomes must see action. Everybody go stop what they doing, but hold on, this nigga called out a heavyweight. So that's different. So you can tell that nigga was on some dumb shit. Like, just like the fucking y'all niggas know I've been tweeting all day about this shit and I was saying like the fans didn't demand this fight, boxing media did, and then some nigga posted, he replied, fans are men. Like, dude, see, and that's the problem. Y'all goofy niggas, just like the boxing media, just don't want to admit that there's actual people that wanted to see Charlo and Benavidez fight.
Let's be honest. The boxing media didn't even demand this fight either. They just justified it as because they wanted to shit on PBC and all the other things. Nobody wants to see Canelo face Charlo. They should fight each other. And Bivol, say Bivol is better than all of them. Doesn't matter. We didn't want to see it. So you're just using it as justification. Well, Bivol's better than all these people. Who cares?
Who cares? Exactly. Y'all comparing a fucking light heavyweight to smaller dudes saying that he's better than them. Well, motherfucker, Michael Spinks was better than Hagler too, nigga. Like, what the fuck? Don't mean I want to see it. Like that's the fucking like these are the Dowsing, Stretch Armstrong, Mr. Fantastic Beaches. The boxing media is trying to do the cover up for Canelo, and it is disgusting. You got dudes really just boxing media is in their feelings, they hurt, and I'm loving it because I'm tired of y'all trying to force narratives on boxing fans and shit. And when it don't exist, and we want something else, absolutely, like, we want what we fucking want. Nigga, if a nigga say, look, I want a red bone, give that nigga the red bone. If he want wings, get that nigga wings. He don't want the fucking, he don't want the motherfucking Philly sub.
Right.
That nigga want chicken tenders. Get the motherfucking chicken tenders.
Oh, but the Philly sub is better for you and has more calories and more tastiness. Who cares? Who cares? You
I
don't
don't
want
give
it.
a fuck. God damn, like, that's the most frustrating part with fucking boxing media. Like, they always justify, look, I wanted Winky versus Taylor too. But no, how about we give you Winky versus Hopkins? Oh,
Yeah.
wait, now I want to see the guy that Taylor already beat twice fight a guy he just had a draw with. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Fact.
Like, this is the shit boxing fans got to deal with all the time. But I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. There's a fucking change coming. Niggas don't want to hear that shit no more. You motherfucking boxing media niggas, y'all don't even get the amount of retweets that normal fans be getting when they talk about the sport. Y'all day is coming to a motherfucking end, just like that goddamn Canelo fucking reign, nigga.
Yeah.
No one cares about your fucking opinions no more because they too biased, they too fucking racist. Like, we don't care about that shit no more. Y'all selling us fights that no one asked for. Y'all hyping up fucking pay-per-views that no one wants to pay. Stream game, nigga. We don't pay for that shit. The fuck we want to see goddamn that trash ass undercard and Canelo fucking slapbox with this nigga.
Yeah, that card was very mid for compared to the Spence Ugas pay-per-view. I mean, yeah, that show was very, very mid.
Yeah, it was mid, and then like I said, I mean, I have a DAZN sub, and I didn't. I mean, I watched it with my sub, but I didn't pay no fucking, $59.99 for that shit.
And you know what? Since motherfuckers don't want to call names out, I'm gonna call names of boxing media. I seen, a certain somebody from, the great Ring magazine talking about, this is a terrific interview by Canelo. He didn't blame heavy suits, pushing or dodgy gloves. How refreshing that an elite level fighter can take an L. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, giving him excuses for being, he wasn't even that gracious. Oh, well, I didn't think Bivol won. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing, dude. Yeah, deflection was a big thing. Like, well,
too much.
There was no reason to deflect to talking about, bringing up Wilder or any of this other shit. Like, no, Wilder had nothing to do with any of this shit. He's not,
What is the love for? Like me, like, look, I know I've been critical of Wilder and all that shit, but once he lost and he done fought his heart out, that's it. Like, unless he's training for a fight or he comes out in public and he says something or does any boxing related, like, why y'all keep bringing this motherfucker
Let's leave him be. Yeah, let's leave that.
Just leave him be. Like, y'all picking on this man now. Like, for what? Y'all picking on a rich millionaire that could knock you the fuck out. I don't get it.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It should have just been stuck with Canelo, this Canelo, that you don't have to worry. Like, he wasn't gracious. Like, if Canelo thinks he wins 4 or 5 rounds, and he's talking all this shit, he wasn't gracious. This nigga's he's delusional and he's in denial.
It's not gracious at all if he thought he won, like, and he said definitely won. Like, dude, like, y'all shitted on Teofimo for worse, and Teofimo at least gave us a fight of the year. At least he dropped the dude. Like, the fuck did Canelo do? Like, he didn't even give us an undercard.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing is, though, at least the fight was more entertaining than we thought it would be, and because it was entertaining to see Canelo get his ass whooped. So
and that's it. No one's gonna be rewatching this fight unless somebody's like, "Fuck it, I love seeing Canelo get punched." And you know what? Maybe we might do that. Fuck this nigga. Like, we might do that anyway.
Yeah, no.
But I'm just saying, it wasn't no classic fight. Like,
nah. No, but like I said, though, Canelo has a ceiling. It's 168. If he fucks around with 175, he'll accumulate 175 damage. Like, Bivol knew, like I said, Bivol already knew what time it was. Now, Bivol, if they have a rematch, Bivol may actually go for the knockout for this time around. And, like,
he definitely gonna be punching punching harder, like awesome, like you robbed me first fight for money.
Yeah. For real, but I think we spent we gave this enough bars. We took it through for almost an hour and 20 minutes. So we had a lot.
It deserved it though. It did. This wasn't 5 years in the making. Like, Ring Gang was like actually formed off of a damn Canelo robbery type fight. Like niggas don't understand. So like this was a long time coming.
Right.
So we had to make sure it was done properly. And plus, we ain't get no celebrating podcast for hitting the 1K subs last week. So
yeah, no,
get a little that vibe in there too.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean the rematch is up. I have no interest in seeing the rematch. It's not an immediate thing, Let Bivol go on a different path to try to unify the division. Let Canelo drop out of the 160 and defend his titles, and just keep it moving. Yeah, but this because like I said, a rematch would probably change the course of somebody's trajectory. And I'm looking at the ginger, who really forgets English.
Yeah, I'm probably the biggest quote unquote Canelo fan here, and I don't see a way for him to win a rematch. To be honest,
there's a way, but Canelo ain't got the effort to do it.
Well, I think
Canelo ain't gonna put the effort.
Yeah, Bivol mentioned he's willing to go down to 168.
Nah, don't do that Chad Dawson bullshit. You the man.
Nah, and it would be a whole move if he did that. It would be a whole move.
It would be a whole move. Like, why would you do that? Nah, beat his ass again at 175. Shit, I don't care. I'll watch a fucking rematch because it'll just see a more decisive ass kicking, and maybe Canelo needs that so we can realize that, hey, look, stop ducking Black Americans and Mexicans. Shit, I don't know what else to say because I'm not gonna say he ducking Russians because I kind of want him to duck better beef.
Yeah,
he knows what's good for him.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, we get this shit some bars, man. I'm gonna enjoy running this shit back, as I'm chopping this shit up for later, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a classic segment though.